Hello, I'm Chylli from Channel Chylli, also known as Try. And give me one moment here. Alright, I figured out I missed something in the first module, so we're just gonna do that really quickly here. Like, it will genuinely only take us a couple seconds here, and then I'll cut and be back with module 2. Alright, so this guy down here with the book. If you use please on him here. Are you a devotee who wants to join our order? His eyes light up as his expression turns fanatical. Read this book. Our Lord will bless you. I'm off to finish my remaining tasks now, young one. Read this book carefully. So now if we go into our inventory here, and then use this book, you notice the book is divided into 2 sections as if it had been rebound. In the old pages it reads, "Darkness shall lead to boundless wisdom. The proper time shall be at night, after the night comes the eternal dawn. Light is but darkness." And the book continues with numerous commandments and some new doctrines, such as all humans are the sacred blood of God. One must return to the divine body to achieve salvation. Then that gives me the contacted cult trait. So yeah, I just missed that the first time, so thought I'd feature it here. And I'll cut and return back in the main lobby. Alright, so here we are back in the main area here. And give me a second here really quickly. Okay, looks like we have no unspent time there. Trying to get my mixing right for the audio. Anyway, last time we finished off lies and frauds. And this time we're going to be getting into the Soladnit. You've received a request from Mr. Carter to investigate the recent disappearance of his wife. Mrs. Carter, who was last seen a week ago inside her bedroom. Since he's a well-known collector and jeweler in the community, he has also hired you as a bodyguard out of suspicion that there may be an assassination attempt on his life. So let's get into it here. Okay, I think we're all good here. So let's get right into it. As you were reading through the newspaper, you received an unexpected commission. Carter is a well-known jeweler, and through a newspaper you learn that he's preparing for a remarkable jewelry exhibition. Just as you are amazed by the colorful life of wealthy people, you received a commission to investigate a missing persons case. The client is Mr. Carter himself. His wife mysteriously disappeared from their bedroom not long ago. He suspects someone is trying to harm him, so he hired you to investigate this case and temporarily act as his bodyguard. You decide to accept this commission and prepare to take a car ride to Carter's luxurious mansion located in the suburbs. During the journey, you pass through a picturesque forest. The sunny weather gives off an atmosphere of tranquility and peace of mind. On both sides of the road are fields shaded by green trees with a gentle breeze brushing through against your ears. Perhaps there won't be too many surprises in this mission, or so you think. Well, at least you'd attempted to be positive about this trip. Already your car is broken down out of nowhere, but you stopped in a nearby gas station in hopes of repairing it. It was just your luck that you wandered right into a gang's territory and soon found yourself surrounded. Just as you were about to give up on this trip, the car slammed into the gang's leader, leaving only a bloody pile of gore. The door opens and a girl yanks you inside. She questions you for a moment, realizing that you're also headed to Carter's residence. That's where you find your current situation. The name's Saya. Fair warning, Saya, I have had bad experiences with a woman with the same name. Any particular reason you're heading to Carter's? Are you aware of what recently happened there? It's not exactly safe. I'm well aware his wife went missing after all. I was hired here to investigate the matter. That being said, I'm also a friend of his. He helped me out before. Saya nods, watching the road ahead of her. You begin to settle in and focus on a black cat that you've noticed white just ahead of you. It seems to have laid claim to the perfect spot, the sun. Her name's Snow, isn't she cute? You reach out to Snow and touch her head. She's not afraid of strangers. Petting her soft fur, you feel a bit more relieved. Or sorry, relaxed. Are you worried about being in danger? Carter's home may be targeted by someone. Are you afraid of danger then, Saya? I'm definitely not. How about this? What if I said I were a professional assassin? Would you believe me? I have no reason to believe you, nor doubt you. All I know is that you're a beautiful girl with a cat, after all. Upon hearing your words, the corners of Saya's mouth rise slightly. She points at the glove compartment. Saya's invited you to look inside the glove compartment. Do you want to do so? You flip open the compartment and find a small black chest falls onto your lap. It's rather heavy for its size. Inside you find rows upon rows of bullets and a well-kept Magnum revolver. It's only then that Snow decides to make her new home inside the drawer, as if more comfy there. Really now, no reaction? The chest is packed full of bullets and you're unfazed. It'll take more than that to scare me. How about you try to guess what I'm here for? I assume Carter invited you as well. If you want me to know, I assume you'll tell me. You're no fun. Well, to my point. I'd appreciate if you please don't get in my way, alright? If so, I'll just be your audience. The sky gradually darkens as growing clouds drift into view. Above, it looks like it might rain at any moment. At this point, the sun is about to set, but you still haven't reached the familiar. But you have reached the familiar road near the Carter mansion. Saya drifts around the bend skillfully and slams on the gas pedal. She quickly charges ahead towards the Carter mansion and into the front parking. As you pull in, a woman strolls up to the vehicle. She's dressed in a butler's attire and seems to be 40 or 50 years old, but in rather incredible shape. She wears her uniform with a sense of pride, giving you a strange sense of reliability. In the corner of your eye, you notice Carter sitting within the study of the mansion. He seems to be talking to someone, but strangely, there's no one in front of him. He's holding a glowing piece of metal, seemingly speaking to it. The butler follows your gaze to Carter and politely bows an apology. My lord has been waiting in the study for some time. Please allow me to lead you to him now. You begin to follow behind the butler as she takes you toward the manor. Behind you sits a magnificent building, though you remember Carter referred to it as just a quaint country house before. As you take in the Berlin countryside, you walk toward the doorway and find yourself in the manor's grand dining hall. Outside, you can see a grand garden comprised of numerous flora, many of which seem imported. Around you, there are servants coming and going, though compared to the butler, they seem worse for wear. Ever since a recent incident, the house staff have been uncomfortable. I tried to instruct them to calm down some to lessen the tension, but as you can see... Please, feel free to rely on me during your stay with that in mind. The butler continues to report on various happenings on the property as you make your way toward the study. Right, what you noticed earlier was what Carter calls a cell phone. It acts as a long-distance form of communication, which he has been using with his business partners as of late. As you ponder the potential of such technology, you realize you're already in the study. My dear friends who have come all this way, I apologize for the long wait. Before we get on to the matter I asked you here for, there's an item that I wish to show you. You hear a mechanism begin to turn inside the table. The top of the table splits apart and a glass case emerges within the table. Within lies a bust wearing a necklace. What really catches your eye, though, is the beautiful sapphire necklace hanging from its neck. I've always heard you are more than just a businessman. It seems you also have an interest in creating gadgets. Quite an interesting hobby you've got. My skills are not worth bragging about. I purchased this antique from an auction house. The gems on it are priceless. Carter's words make you stare at the gem. When you focus on the gem, your vision begins to warp into a strange illusion. The gem appears to be practically absorbing the surrounding light, much like a black hole devouring everything. Your eyes begin to tremble as if countless colors burst from the gem. You cannot describe the colors, but you feel an overwhelming sense of fear and an intimidation from each. Intense sensory stimulation wreaks havoc through your nerves. The light begins to fade as Carter's voice pulls you back to reality. This gem is called Soladnit. I found this through one of my close contacts that thought it might interest me. In my studies, this gem is completely unique in its makeup, which is why it's both priceless and incomparable to anything else. In terms of why I'm talking to you about this, though, I suspect that it may be related to my wife's disappearance. I assume there's a reason behind that logic. Correct. Once the Soladnit arrived in the mansion, strange things began happening consistently. The maids began noticing signs of vandalism on the property. There have also occasionally been flowers strewn throughout the manor, throughout the garden, in an intentional manner. Both myself and my staff have both heard strange noises coming from the hallway every now and then as well. I suspect that someone is after the Soladnit. That being said, even my contact completely lost as to who else knew of our exchange. While it was less harmful at first, my wife's disappearance became the final straw and reason I summoned you here. In that case, why did you choose to store the Soladnit in your study? Isn't that basically provoking whoever is doing this? It's not actually here. Under this manor lies an underground vault where I safely store my various valuables. What you just saw was merely a holographic projection. Now that you have an understanding from my request, I'd like to begin my investigation. By investigating the room where my wife was residing in. As Carter finishes his sentence, the device on the desk begins beeping rapidly. And he excuses himself to take a call. Apologies, my lord is rather busy, even with the issue at hand. You did ask that I act as your guide in the event anything came up, so allow me to guide you to the bedroom. The butler leads you away from the study into the corridors of the mansion. As the clamor of daybreak fades, the shadows of night creep into the soul. When the bustle of day recedes, what remains? You know not, nor can you fathom. While there are many rooms in Carter's mansion, he asks that you prioritize the upper floor for the time being. You can't help but look on in disbelief as both the first and second floors are filled with various exhibits of jewelry and priceless statues. Your guide indicates that the room at the end of the hallway is the master bedroom, whereas the room before is where Carter's wife has been residing. She also tells you that currently the mansion has no other rooms currently occupied, as the staff primarily reside either at their own residences or just off the property. Many of the manor's rooms have ended up used as utility setups for supplies to maintain the manor, or for Carter's collections. He shows you to the first bedroom and holds the door for you to enter. The housekeeper pushes the door open, and in front of you is a very cozy room, colored mainly with pink. This used to be the little lady's room, but she passed away due to a catastrophic car accident 5 years ago. It was a great shock for Miss Carter, and she had lived here ever since. It's a shame to think about it now. I didn't know much about the day she disappeared, so I took the liberty of tidying up the room. Pardon me. What have you put in place? A diary fell on the floor. I recognized it as the Mrs. Diary, so I put it back on the table. Madam had always treasured that diary, but somehow she dropped it on the floor again. I was confused by this. Snow? I'm going to take care of Snow, my bad. My lord has instructed me to cooperate with the guests in their investigation, so I'll wait here for now. Let's take a look around here. The windows each seem to have been reinforced with a layer of metal wiring to form a mesh across the window. This type of mesh looks as though it's both to prevent break-ins as well as to prevent individuals from getting out from the window. Either Carter's serious about security, or that he's paranoid about something. The moon was blocked out by thick clouds, so the window seems to be fogged up. The window in front of you begins to reflect something as you simply stand there. It's not your silhouette, though. As you focus on the silhouette, you see a figure reading a diary. The figure looks up and directly into your eyes. She shrieks in terror, dropping the diary onto the floor. The window begins to blur as the reflection fades. My head hurts. Something's wrong with this room. You pull out the drawers and check them one by one, only to find some expensive cosmetics. These bottles and jars are neatly arranged, and it seems that the madam is very concerned about the rules and order. Hang on, let me arrange my inventory really quickly before we get into a battle or something. Alright, we have a lot of ammo now. Before you sits a bed that remains the same as it was the day the madam disappeared. You quickly inspect the bedding, not finding anything particularly concerning until you decide to look underneath. Under the bed, you find a plethora of pill bottles scattered across the floor. Sedatives. These are all strong antidepressants. She must have been in a terrible state after losing her daughter. I'd advise the madam to be careful with her health on multiple occasions. Even when I'd refuse to go get them for her, she would find them somewhere else. Then there was also an incident in which she had attempted to take her life with a kitchen knife. Fortunately, she simply passed out after drawing blood, and the night watchman discovered her soon after. It got to a point where the master could not bear to see the madam grieving in this manner, therefore he allowed her to overindulge. You mean Madam Carter could have not been in her right mind due to the addiction and the drug's influence? It's certainly a possibility. The master's mansion is quite large and has many different collections. We gave up searching in a few areas due to risk that we would damage his collections. On the table above Snow sits a diary. It seems to have been infrequently used, but you notice that the owner, as Mr. Carter's daughter. As you read, you see the diary abruptly ends one day. You suspect it was the day of her accident. The writing on the last page is blurred as if it had been smeared by water. There's not nearly enough detail here to even speculate. As if in thought, you run your hand over the ink on the last page. A flood of information pours into your mind, mindless but containing strong emotion. You look back up and realize you aren't standing within the bedroom anymore. A short distance away, you see a skinny young girl walking down the street. You hear the engine of a car roar from your right. You turn briefly as a car enters your vision and at full speed runs into the girl. The blood spews out on either side, covering the driveway in a bright red gore. You look back at the car, its black-toned vintage model, and looks rather expensive. As you take in the details, you realize the car is heading straight in your direction. You're unable to move, the car collides with you as the illusionary vision fades. As you find yourself back in the bedroom, you stumble back, losing your balance. Zaya catches you before you can hit the ground, but your head aches from the vision that was imprinted upon your mind. Are you alright there, partner? You hear our words, but take a moment to collect yourself. Your brain feels as though a portion of your mind's files have been spread across the ground. Saya, stay away from this diary. I had a disturbing vision. What was it you saw that got you so worked up? I saw a young girl get violently killed by a car. It didn't seem like it was accidental. My vehicle looked like a vintage model, black in color. After I hit the girl, it seemed to notice me and went for the kill. A black vintage model. Wait, does it resemble the one in the parking lot we passed earlier? I wasn't paying attention to the cars in the parking lot. We should probably take a look later. I can only remember the model's design and color. It'd probably be best if I view this as well. She opens the diary in a hurry, expecting to experience what you told her. Oddly, she seems to experience no change. You get the feeling that she didn't see what you did. She looks over to you, almost looking disappointed. What a shame, I guess only you witnessed it. This last page looks to be ruined, though. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. If I may offer my opinion, the damage may have been by the madam. Her unstable state may have left her wanting to remove any traces that would remind her of her daughter's death. Have you encountered anything strange before with this diary? Potentially along the lines of a vision of a black vehicle? No, I have not. I apologize for being unable to provide a better response. Have there been any strange occurrences of note in the space before your madam's disappearance? Nothing of note comes to mind as being overly strange. While I do come here near daily to clean, I'm not in this space for extended periods of time. Alright then. We'll continue our investigation for a moment longer. As you please, Lady Saya. Let's look around a bit longer. I want to entertain a few more possibilities. You examine the room from the corner, hoping that the angle might help your concentration. As you take a moment to think, you notice a small crack on the floor to the wall behind you. It doesn't seem to have been made from an external impact. It looks as though the wall is cracked from the inside from structural damage. You notice Saya put a metal disc behind the portrait. In the brief prior in which the butler transferred attention elsewhere. Saya? Saya puts her finger to her lips. We all have our own ways to ascertain the truth. Have you found anything else? Had a few ideas at least, but something is abnormal here. I think we've gotten all we can from this room, though. It'd probably be best to move on to the next destination. If you're ready then, partner, let's head to Carter's room. Hang on a moment. Oh geez, I am so sorry. There we go, now I have the full screen, jeez. I am glad I at least looked at the recording now to notice that. I wish it wouldn't reset my settings like that when I launched the game. The door does not have a handle or a lock. On the wall next to the door is a small gray block. A small gray box with a tiny red light on it. I guess all the rooms have now been remodeled by my lord. Since Madame disappeared, the lord's unease has become more and more evident. Now the only way to open and close the rooms of the house is with this key we refer to as a pass card. Behind the butler with a black card in her hand. You remember that when opening the door, she put the card to the box area before the door was opened. Would you mind if we brought our investigation to Mr. Carter's room? Certainly. You have been given the authority to conduct your investigation as you please. Once you complete your investigation here, you should go to Carter's room to investigate. Will you go there now? My apologies. My lord tends to leave the room in this state and insists we leave it be. Please watch your step. Immediately you are taken aback by the sprawling mess that's in this bedroom. It looks much like a bedroom, much less like a bedroom and more like a testing facility that has been allowed by the convenience of a grand bed, among a few other commonplace items. The tables are littered with stacks of papers, scrolls, and machinery that you haven't seen before. The day after the incident occurred, my lord slowly began to use the space less and less. He eventually ended up moving into his study full-time, almost avoiding the space entirely. While the space itself hasn't been greatly disturbed since the incident, I'm unsure whether you'll find anything of use here. What's the stand for? Do you mean the shelf? Well, the master was very excited when he got the Soladnit. Almost every day he looks at that beautiful gemstone on the side of the shelf with a magnifying glass. It is as if he's enchanted by it. However, after realizing that he may be targeted by thieves, he deposited the gem in an underground vault. I heard that he also hired a detective who solved many supernatural incidents. And she will come here tomorrow. Well, I hope she's easy to talk with. Let's get started, partner. The sooner we finish, the sooner we can rest. Well, I hope that I have a comfortable room. Don't worry, I've prepared rooms for both of you. Oh, we can sleep in the same room. We are a good team after all. I'd rather stay by his side than let him get lost somewhere else. Understood. Let's get to work, partner. Only one room. Did you even think about asking me first? The corner seems to house files focused on the jewelry trade as a whole, including sellers, costs, and potential upcoming items. You can't help but lose interest as the documents go on and on. As you look over at the table, you once again feel a wave of dizziness of the sheer cost of it and the items that lay throughout. It seems that he's grown much more interested in collecting jewels than you previously remembered. As you take in the sight for a moment, you notice a pattern spread on the top of the table and attempt to piece it together in your mind. The pattern on the shelf catches your attention and you recall the knowledge base in your brain. You remember an article on ancient folklore which seemed to be of some ritual paraphernalia, but you can't think of any more. This is an antique that my lord acquired, though I do not know its origin. At this point, I've come to accept the strange fascinations. I ask that you try to not let it bother you. I get it, some rich folk really can be obsessed with secrets and mysteries. It's not like it's anything uncommon. At the very least, I'd like to get some pictures to hopefully get some grain on this trip. You notice that the butler does not try to stop Saya. However, the moment Saya sets the camera into position, ready to take a picture... What the hell is this? She whips out a gun from her garter and shoots at the table. Upon firing her handgun, Sayushi seems to reflexively stumble back. She gasps and collapses on the floor. You would have never expected to see her look so defenseless. Saya! Lady Saya? What's the matter? It's nothing. Nothing at all. There's something wrong with this table. I'd suggest telling Mr. Carter to get rid of it. I will inform my lord. Normally you'd expect danger to go hand in hand with Saya. Whatever he witnessed must have been something I cut deeply. Has Mr. Carter been in physical contact with the table for extended periods of time? Yes, but the master seems fine. I'll inform the master of these problems as soon as possible. Is there anything else I can do for you? It's getting late, and I believe this is probably a good time to gather our thoughts. For now, we'll go back to our room and rest. The butler nods and walks away, seemingly giving you a moment before leading you to your room. Saya seems to have settled down considerably. Thank you for that. I'm feeling better now, at least. She hesitates for a moment before continuing. Once she visually confirms that the butler has left the room, she continues. The house I saw from the camera lens is completely different now from what it looks like. It's completely different from what it looks like now. The table itself does not exist and the room is heavily distorted. Everything around existed as complex shapes. It wasn't blurry or anything, but the details looked too complex for me to clearly detail. Everything gave off a sense of wanting to tear me to nothing and drag me away. It's hard for me to describe it that well. I'm sorry, I made you worry about me. Everything's fine if you're okay. I'm almost done investigating, so let's go get some rest. I was not nearly done investigating, so let's keep looking around here. Gems lay spread across the floor as if forgotten. You take a moment to look over them and find one that seems intact, though engraved with runic symbols. You decide to hold on to it. Before you sits a strange arrangement of brass quails stemming from a box of the same material. The box itself has many small holes as if to serve as a means to attach the quails. As you lean over to examine it, you notice that the ends of the quails have a small metal needle at their end. This is for engraving or transferring energy. It looks like a radio, but it seems completely different, whether modified beyond what you're used to, or a model from overseas. And we got a second gemstone there. Or sorry, not gemstone, runestone. You find a framed hand-drawn sketch in the drawer. From what you can make out, the sketch stands to show an immense rugose cone. Roughly 10 feet high and 10 feet in diameter at the bottom. All covered in strange and even scale-like texture. You don't know what it is, whether it's a machine or a living creature. I can't even guess what this might be. Carter's mind is quite unique. When searching for information, you find a book about mysticism and try to learn from it. God damn, that was a terrible raid. Occultism is increased by 5. While you understand that people have different perspectives, as your eyes fall upon this tragedy, even in a room this torn up, you can't help but take a step back in concern. The bed is covered in documents, books, and blueprints. The only shred of morality is that the blanket itself has been spared from the circus. As you turn your attention to beneath the bed, you notice an aged and weathered document containing strange symbols as a text. Upon closer examination, you know some of these words. They're beyond the limit of the times. Allow you to see 2 crossed out symbols that have been circled and marked as important. I doubt I have the time to decipher these symbols. If I were to ask Carter, I can't be certain he'd be straightforward either. Someone else might know how to quickly decipher it. Alright, and I think that might be it for here. Please follow me. Snow, come back! Snow runs away with Saya chasing after her immediately. Saya, hold on. Long time no see. Still a rascal as ever, I see. You follow Saya to the garden where the lights are on. Snow is standing on the well in the middle of the garden. Come here, Snow. That's not a place for you to be playing around. It's the butler. We can't find the room without her. You look behind you. For some reason, the butler isn't following you. Saya, you're so fast. It takes effort to chase you down, even for me. Let's just wait here. There are lights in the garden. You can see every flower clearly. Looking around, only the well is still dark, pitch black. Let's take a peek around here. The freshly renovated soil and the surrounding flowers seem to have just been planted. And I'm going to seal all the flowers. Woo! Paradoxically, the leaves on the bushes here turned gray. It was as if it lost part of its vitality and looked sick. You always feel as if it's saying something to you. Neither I nor Saya know the way. The butler could find us. You see a strange mist. It creeps slowly as if it were alive, making you feel nauseous. As if you see something you shouldn't have seen, but you don't have the time to pull your head back. There's a cool feeling behind you. At this moment, you hear a strange voice. No, it's not that strange, but you can't believe it. It's someone's voice, like an exclamation or surprise. That thing is surprised by your reaction. Then you hear a word clearly, "Ah," and the voice goes away. You feel as if a cold hand has touched your neck. It's like an indication or a warning. What happened? There's a person behind me, maybe. I didn't find anything abnormal in this short time. Why did he suddenly come so far? I almost couldn't respond. Snow almost fell into the well, but we're fine now. I see, it's good that you're fine. This well was found by my lord before he built the mansion. Something may have happened before. But I don't know the details, only the lord is keen to explore these mysterious events. Is there water in this well? How deep is it? Not sure, it was abandoned long ago, nobody uses it. You see the butler frown. Well, I'm too old to stay up late. It's getting late now, follow me to the room for rest, my guest. Knowing the well must be unusual, you would. Investigate the well a bit more before leaving. Although it's very dark outside, you're still keenly aware that there are many cracks on the inner edge of the well, hard to notice. These cracks clearly did not exist before. They interlock like blood vessels. A black liquid begins to leak from the cracks, flowing outward along the well. Saya, Butler, where are you? I'm doomed. You see a world that has achieved mechanical civilization, with large buildings stretching countless miles away, and countless close-air vehicles flying fast in the air. However, behind the air vehicles, you see a wave of alien-shaped monsters. Those things shuttle and jump across space constantly, shooting down the air vehicles. Oops, accidentally clicked off there. The small device displays the name Carter. You begin to hear a strange sound play from within the device. It's an odd sound that almost sounds like something screeching. It sounds like a language, but you can't understand the words themselves. It feels like it carries a wave of energy that feels unnatural. The voice begins to make you sway. It seems like something is pulling you in, ready to swallow you whole. You begin to feel an emotion from the voice. It sounds like a person asking for help. The voice seems young and energetic, but covered in a deep layer of sadness. Help us. The sudden voice breaks your trance. You slowly begin to come to your senses. Whose voice was that? It wasn't Carter. Ahead of you watches a beast-like creature formed from purples and greens. It seems to almost draw the very stars into its form. You feel as though your very soul has been pierced by an invisible blade. You're unable to move no matter how much you struggle. You feel like prey that has fallen into a predator's trap, merely waiting for your demise. The creature slowly makes its approach. You feel as though your life is about to end. Then you hear the soft meow of a cat. A strange sensation surges into your flesh. It feels as though you're being healed without the tenderness of release. Instead, you feel a primal energy pour into your soul. Pain racks through you, but you feel in control of yourself. All you can process is the need to run or fight. Run! No, we're gonna fight. Oh, well, that wasn't good. See, that's happening because I have this bad trait for a second. Accidentally entered, which makes me start combat at 1 HP. I need 3 of them for it to go away, though. And there we go, we killed him there. In the meantime, Sai and the butler have been anxiously searching the courtyard for any trace of you. You once again find yourself at the edge of the well. Saya immediately notices and rushes over to you. It feels as though she's trying to ask you something, but your mind feels exhausted. It feels as though the world itself is collapsing as you drop onto the ground. The butler leads you to the guest room, leaving once she's confirmed that you're settled in. Saya takes a seat near the edge of the bed. She takes out her various weapons and briefly looks over them as if cautious. As she's in the midst of looking over her handgun, she yawns as she lays down on the edge of the bed. All this time you've been asleep, suffering from a horrific nightmare. You find yourself in a dark abyss. Your skin feels as though it's being torched by magma. An impulse constantly tugs on your mind and you don't know how long you can ignore it. The pain is getting worse, it itches, but can you make it stop? How can you make it stop? You scratch at your body and at your surroundings in an attempt to stop it. As hearing pain does not stop, you hear sounds of fighting, various armors and weapons clashing. All the sound being poured directly into your ears. The blood-curdling screams and death throes continue to drown your mind as you're helpless to stop it. You feel so small and helpless, the world around you tears you apart, then puts you back together again. Over and 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 over. Eventually, the feeling of magma begins to grow past what you thought was its peak. As your eyes strain to find purchase, you see it climbing from the ground below as if engulfing the small remaining land you sit upon. The area around you slowly collapsing and joining the hellish depths below. Terror begins. Terror fills your mind as time slows. You plunge into the magma below as countless hands reach from under the housegate, restraining your arms, hands, neck, thighs, and your ankles alike. The hands force you to see the burning piles of bones, alabaster white beneath the surface. As every inch of your body burns with the force of a star. You want to escape, but you have no way out. Just when you are swallowed up by the building magma, you suddenly find your eyes. Open your eyes and wake up from the nightmare. You wake up sweating as your heart feels as though it's about to beat out of your chest. Keep quiet. Saya realizes you've awoken, nods towards the doorway and raises her fingers in caution. There's something going on outside. You hear the sound of footsteps outside the door. At first it sounds as if it's coming from just outside the door, then far away, then both. It's both strange and hard to comprehend. Carefully creep up to the edge of the doorway, careful to avoid the small edge of light leaking through. You look out through the peephole only to see a small empty corridor. It seems that they keep the corridor light on during the night as the sky outside is still dark. You attempt to catch any sounds from outside the door. As you listen, you hear the step of You hear a set of footsteps in the hallway. The sound soon fades into the wandering corridor. You take a moment to catch your breath, but as you do, you see the small crack in the doorway suddenly grow larger and larger, ever so faintly. You feel an eerie sensation wrap over you. As you teeter on the edge of consciousness, you hear a whisper. It doesn't sound like any form of language you know, as it's completely beyond your knowledge. As the whisper begins to fade, you begin to feel kids surrounding you, all meowing. As you come back to your senses, you quickly realize your heartbeat is abnormally fast. It's difficult to breathe and your face is burning up. While you can't be sure what you heard, you realize that it's had an impact on your direct being. You begin to understand what that whisper is. It's almost a call of sorts. Something is calling you, calling your name. But then your hallucinations begin to expand like growing moss, like fermented wine. You see many cats in front of you. You know them, you know each of them. They surround you, meowing with warmth, striving to please you. Everything in the illusion is still so virtual and wonderful. You feel your body temperature rising rapidly and begin to let yourself slip away into the dream. You feel a wave of dizziness come over you. You trip into the wall, plummeting into the dark floor below. As your consciousness fades into darkness, you feel something gently caress your head. It feels loving almost, the last edge of your consciousness beginning to slip away as you fall asleep. Saya wakes up first. Thank God we're fine. Seeing you lying on the floor with her, she understands the situation quickly. Oh, now it's time to work, shall we? After Saya wakes you up, you take a moment to calm your mind. Once you do so, you hurriedly tell Saya everything that happened to you before. Saya puts on a serious look and analyzes slowly. Seems like a certain power is protecting us. We could have gone missing just like the madam. We must meet with Carter today then. Well, it is necessary to talk with Carter properly. But for now, let's go to the ballroom first. The butler told me yesterday that there will be a grand banquet. We should feast on dishes we've never even seen before. Don't worry so much, say carpe diem. Let's go! And that's where we're gonna end it for today's video. Let me save really quickly. I know it just auto-saved, but it can never hurt. And yeah, that's where we're gonna end this video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time when we continue with more depersonalization. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!